YouTube? It's your boy AT here, and we back again with another video. Alright, y'all. So, the title of this video is called My Thoughts About This Year, 2025. So, apologies that it's been taking me this long to put out another video. It's just that school has been so difficult so far, and yeah, like I had a hard time doing biology, but I was able to pass it and successfully, end the year on a higher note. So, yes, I was able to also succeed and go to, a much higher level. You know what I'm saying? But anyways, yeah. One thing that I wanted to say is that your boy passed. You know what I'm saying? Your boy passed and he graduated. Your boy graduated. So, yeah, that's what I want to say. And now I finally get to do what I really wanted to do. And that is to major in something different that's also dealing with art. And I'll show y'all soon what I will be working on. I'll show y'all what I'll be working on, and I'll be keeping y'all posted. But anyways, yes. So that's basically what I've been through this past year. I haven't had time to work out. Science has been hard. Biology class has been difficult. But your boy graduated and I got my associates. Now some of y'all already know. Some of y'all have seen my, my Instagram stories. Some of y'all may not. You know what I'm saying? Most people who know me know that I graduated. And so, yeah. But anyways, that's all I wanted to say. Before I get into about this year, I just want to first tell y'all about the merch I'm wearing. So this is the Try Butt merch. So this is the merch that my mom made on her, her t-shirt store that she's been creating for a while. And if y'all want these shirts, the link will be down in the description down below, and you can get your own Tribe Up shirt. That's what I wanted to show y'all. So if you want these shirts, down link in the description down below. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be there for you. Don't worry about it. And I will be developing my own shirts. It's just going to take a little bit longer. That's going to happen. But I'm just wanting to, show y'all this for support. So, yeah. Anyways, that's all I wanted to say about that. Oh my goodness. I don't know where to start at. I don't know which part I should start at for about this year. This year has been Let me start off with the good parts first about this year. The good part is I was able to, hang out with my, my lady friend who's also a YouTuber. We went hiking a few times. We also were able to I was able to do karaoke with her, obviously. And she knows who she is because she watches my videos sometimes. And if you're watching, you know who you are. But anyways, we were able to do that. And another good thing is that, like I said before, I graduated and I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying? I was able to fulfill my long mission, and now I got to start on my next mission, which is getting my bachelor's, which I told some of y'all may not know, but yes, my bachelor's is my next goal for y'all, the ones who don't know. But yeah, anyways, enough with the college stuff. I'm trying to think what else I want to tell y'all that was also very important. My bad, y'all. Um, I know now what I wanted to tell y'all. It took me a while to think about it, but the best part of this year is that one of my all-time amazing, great bodybuilders, he won. Now, some of y'all know, who I'm talking about because I posted on my story, but if y'all don't, the bodybuilder that I'm talking about is no other than Ramon Dino. He won the Mr. Olympia, and I'm so proud of him. And if he's watching this video right now, which I highly doubt that he is, because this man is the most popular bodybuilder of Brazil and possibly the whole wide world. You know, I'm proud of him for winning the Olympia. He went through trials and tribulations to try to get to where he wanted to get to, and I'm just glad that he was able to finally do it. It was hard for him, but he was able to manage it and to win. But anyways, man, I'll talk about bodybuilding for a later time. Right now, I don't want to, talk about that right now. Get into too many of that kind of stuff, or get into all of that right now, because I want to talk about also the bad things that happened for this year. So y'all know me. I'm not really a kind of, politics kind of person when it comes to politics and stuff like that. And I try to steer away from it because I know how deadly and how bad it can really get, and how people can try to take advantage of you. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not really that kind of person that's into politics and that's into all that. I tend to want to stay away from that because you know the purpose of these kind of videos isn't to try to talk about that kind of stuff, because out there, politics of the end of itself is pretty depressing. You know what I'm saying? And so I try to stay away from talking about that kind of stuff, because I know that it can get many people, in like including myself, into serious trouble. You know what I'm saying? And I try to steer away from that because I'm not really that kind of this isn't that kind of channel. You know what I'm saying? But but for now, I'll give y'all my thoughts on certain things, and I'll tell y'all certain things. But after this, I'm only gonna talk about it one time and one time only. So first things first, where do I start? Man. So I want to talk about people being deported from ICE. Now, I don't agree with none of the things that that's happened. I don't agree with people being deported from ICE, but all I can say is that everything comes with a price, and I just don't know what to tell y'all. For the people that got deported, I don't know what to tell y'all. You know, I I just don't know what to tell y'all. You know, one thing I can say, man, is that one thing I can say is that y'all didn't need to vote for Trump. You didn't have to. That's the only thing I can say about that. Only thing I can say. I'm just gonna say that, and people are gonna be like, well, why are you saying that? Why are you telling me that? Well, it's because many years ago, when I was in middle school, I'm about to go to high school, because I was in 8th grade, and I was 14 years old. This was like 2 years before I start my YouTube channel, or a year before I start my YouTube channel. You know what I'm saying? Um, Donald Trump was elected as president of the United States in 2017. That was his first time he was in office. And so first time in office. And so people knew what he was capable of doing. And I could never understood why some of y'all voted for him, knowing what he did back then. Because some Mexicans still voted for him even now, and they're wondering, like, why is all this shit happening? Like, why is my friends and family being deported? Really? You really want to know why that's happening? You really want to know? You really want to know? Really? People really don't know? And I was confused because years ago, when I was in, middle school, high school, whatever, Trump said that he was going to build a wall over Mexico. And I thought back then that people would just know that the guy wasn't for them. But no. People didn't think that. And people fell for it even this year. Like, ever since Biden, wasn't really doing anything in office, people disliked it, what he wasn't doing or what he was doing. I don't know, because like I said before, I wasn't into politics or anything. People thought that Trump would be the best option. And one thing that I could never understand is whenever there's a new president, everybody, for whatever reason, seems to forget what the previous president did that was bad. And then when a new... Sorry again, but what I was saying was, whenever there's a new president, people would shit on the new president. And then, they completely forget what the other one did. And I never could understand the wish-washy of how people can, think. You know what I'm saying? It just seems like they just decide to forget. You know what I'm saying? And I don't understand why, there's people out here who choose to forget. Because I didn't forget. Like, I remember that. I remember one of my classmates crying when Donald Trump was in office, or was about to, be in office. And this was back in 2017, you know what I'm saying? And I also remember when my old teacher from 8th grade, she told me, like, is Donald Trump gonna, kick us out of our house or whatnot? Well, she didn't say that, but her daughter did. Her daughter said, asked her if will Donald Trump kick them out of, their house. And this was years ago. I remember this like it was yesterday. And so, yeah, man. And so there's a lot of things to think about when we talk about, presidencies and stuff like that. And so people just act all brand new. Oh, I didn't know he was going to do that. And I'm like, really? And it's people, like, I could never understand why, Hispanics would think that, because he was the main demographic that didn't want you in the United States in the first place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like, really? I just don't get, like, what made you think that this guy was with you? He told you years ago he didn't want you in this country, and he was trying to build a wall. What part of that said I want you in the United States and I want you to be an American citizen, and I think you should have equal rights and opportunities just like everybody else? You know what I'm saying? What part of that did Trump say? What I'm trying to say is, what part of that did you hear him say that? He didn't say none of that. You know what I'm saying? He said that he was building a wall, and that he didn't want nobody in that wall, and he made it clear. But now you're being surprised that he's deporting y'all? Like, I don't get it. And so I don't understand. And another thing, um, and this is, some of y'all are gonna disagree with me. Some of y'all are gonna say this is not a sad story at all. But and some of y'all may either laugh, and I don't think y'all should be laughing at this because it's not funny, because you wouldn't want this to happen to you. But Charlie Kirk passed away a few months ago, and I heard about this already, but I didn't want to say anything about it. And I heard about every headline on it, and I heard what everybody was saying about it, and people making fun of him for dying. And one thing that I can say is that the man didn't deserve to die. Do I think what he was saying was wrong, and did I disagree with it? Can I say that he was biased or racist? Yeah, but I don't think he should have died. I think he should have been given the chance. What I was trying to say is, I think he should have been given a chance to at least change. You know what I'm saying? I think everybody has that right, and I don't think that people have the right to take away another person's life all because they disagree or dislike the other person. That's all I can say. I think you need to give people a chance to at least, correct themselves. You know what I'm saying? Because everybody is on this planet for a reason, and no one should be taken or be wiped off the face of the earth all because, oh, I hate this guy and I don't think that he should be here. Well, no, everybody has just a right to be here, just like you do. You know what I'm saying? Everybody has that a God-given right to live. You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, and I really feel bad for his daughters, because now they don't have a father. They don't have their father. And so, yeah, man, that's all I can say. And another thing too, man, to loop back to people's point, I find that very, very ironic that and it just doesn't make sense either. I find because to me it makes sense, but it doesn't make sense at the same time how he was killed. And because the last thing that was on his mind was about black people doing wrong, black people killing, black people murdering, black people stealing. That was the last thing that was on his mind, and him using statistics that wasn't even true and that has been proven to be false. You know what I'm saying? And so that was the last thing that he, that was on his mind. That we were on his mind. You know what I'm saying? We were on his mind. And so, and he was talking trash about us, but meanwhile, he was killed by a white man. He wasn't killed by a black man. He was killed by a white man. And that's just one thing that I found very ironic about the situation. And, and I don't quite understand how people, after everything that after everything people have gone through, after everything we've seen so far, I don't know why the last thing he would think about would be, oh, well, black people are just the evil, terrible people of the scum of the earth who just kill people. But that's not true. You know what I'm saying? And so I just never understood that, is all I'm saying. I never understood that, or the logic behind it. I don't get it. And one thing that I can say, man, is just because one individual, does wrong doesn't mean that everybody does wrong. It doesn't mean that everybody's done wrong is gonna do wrong. And so, That's all I want to tell you guys, man. Just some things that just genuinely doesn't make sense. But no, just because a few individuals do wrong, doesn't mean that everybody does wrong. This goes for every race. It doesn't just go for black people. You know what I'm saying? To contrary to popular belief. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't just go to black people. It's for everybody. You know what I'm saying? Everybody there's good people and there's bad people. You know what I'm saying? And not everybody is, not everybody's bad and not everybody is good. You know what I'm saying? And we have to look at things for what they are, you know what I'm saying, and not what they could or should be, you know what I'm saying, but just for how things are, you know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about the overall truth. And this dude used falsified evidence to slander my people. That's basically what it was. It was falsified evidence, and and he also added bias to it as well because he thought that his people couldn't do no wrong, and that that his people were perfect and that they couldn't do no wrong or anything. But time and time and time again, history has proved otherwise. And so that's all I gotta say, yeah, guys. I'm done talking about this because it's depressing. Like it's just I'm not getting nothing out of it. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, you know, I'm sorry that came off that way, but yeah, but I have a lot to, be thankful for. And, it's been a strange year. And yeah, that's just all I gotta say. And I'm just glad I made it out of here. I'm glad that I was able to achieve so much more of my, of my, achievements. And I'm hoping that I can achieve more. And I'm hoping that I can do far more. And I'm hoping that I can do far more content for y'all on here so y'all can, continue seeing me and, doing more stuff on here. And so that's all I gotta say. You know what I'm saying? I'm, I think this is all good. Oh, and y'all, I forgot to also mention that yes, I will be doing more videos. You know what I'm saying? I will be doing more, I will be doing a gaming video very soon. Very, very soon. I told y'all that I was gonna do it, play a game for y'all. And so I'm still gonna do that. Don't worry about that. I'm still gonna do that. And I also told y'all that I was gonna do a few more reaction videos, but I think the reaction videos might have to wait because I'm also planning on doing a video, about something else entirely different. So that's all I gotta say. But for this, solely for the winter break, I'm only gonna talk about I'm only gonna do my bodybuilding video, which I just told y'all. I'm gonna do my gaming video as well. I'm definitely gonna do that. Don't worry, definitely gonna do that. And I was gonna do a fast food rating of foods that I like, cheeseburger places, burger places that I like going to. I'm planning on doing that as well. And there was a few other things that I had on my list that I was gonna do for y'all. You know what I'm saying? So that way I can get it out there and give y'all my opinion. And so that's all I gotta say, man. That's really all I gotta say. And yeah. And I'm trying to think what else. That's pretty much all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. I'm just really happy that I was able to, graduate, and now I'm on to the next chapter of my life. And yeah. So if you like this video, please like, subscribe, and share. And if you want more from me, you know, just let me know and I'll do more. You know what I'm saying? And also, I'm also planning on doing like a fan mail as well. So y'all can, hit me up on my email and you could send me things that y'all want me to do, and I'll try to do it. But just make sure that you just let me know, and I'll get back to y'all. All right. you know Love y'all. Peace.